Hello and welcome to Hump Day. And certainly enjoy having you here from Dosca Manor, the E campus, the Louisville campus, Indiana campus, and Hardin County campus. We have a great lesson in front of us. Remember, we in the series, I have learned the F word, and the F word for this week is friend. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege, it is to carry everything. Didn't say something, but everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless, don't have to, pain we bear, all because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. What a friend. Sounds good, doesn't it? Think about that. A friend in Jesus. That's what we have. But would Jesus say the same thing about us? What a friend I have in Geneva. Wow. Now, he couldn't go to the rest of the song because I don't have that kind of power. But could he just say, what a friend I have in Geneva? But stop and think. If our friends, if we treated our friends like we treat Jesus, scarcely talk to him, treat him just like, oh well, you know, we don't call him our BFF. If we talk a little to our spouses or our significant others like we talk to Jesus, I guarantee we wouldn't have a significant other or a spouse or whatever. But we have such little time. But yet we come into church and we love what a friend we have in Jesus. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Why? Just take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful who will all our sorrows share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. What a friend. Well, what is a friend? A British publication offered a prize for the best definition of a friend. Let me give you some of them. Among the thousands of answers received were the following: one who multiplies joys, divides grief, and whose honesty is invaluable. One who understands our silence. Woo, that's what we need. A volume of sympathy bound in cloth. Another one, a watch that beats true for all time and never runs down. Wow. But the winning definition said, a friend is the one who comes in when the whole world has gone out. While a friend is the first person, is the one who comes in when the whole world has gone out. And you know, the Bible is filled with many friendships. There was Jonathan and David. There was Moses and Jethro. There was Elijah and Eliza. There was Paul and Timothy. There was Paul and the church at Ephesus. And Proverbs 18:24 says, a man who has friends must show himself friendly. And there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. So the point to ponder here is, what is your definition of friend? What characteristics do you think make up a good friend? Now, I'm going to ask this. Do you meet your own definition and qualifications? You see, because in this world, we have all kinds of friends. Like a bat friend, you know, B-A-T, and they only come out at night. Yeah, they want to prowl with you. Faucet friends, you know, the kind that turn on and off. You got some friends like that. Fake friends who will let you down when you really need them to pick you up. Summer friends who will be there. Now watch this little play on words. Summer friends who will be there some of the time. Telephone friends who will let your message go to voicemail. Nosy friends are those that live in your business. They don't have any business, I don't think. Jealous friends who want your possessions. It doesn't matter, be it your house, be it your husband, be it your wife, be it the car, your job. They want what's yours. And lying friends who will lie on you and to you. Now, don't be one of them kind of friends. But the true friend will not wait for you to call. They will call you. Ooh. A friend is one who walks in when the rest of the world walks out. Now, I might fit that description a little bit better than a true friend will not wait for your call, they'll call you. I don't do too well with the calling. A true friendship is one man in two bodies. A true friend is one who reaches for your hand and touches your heart. And let me say right here, true friends don't come often. I had a true friend. And she's gone to glory. And, you know, I miss her today just as if she left yesterday. But it was easy to talk to. She was a true friend. I believe I got another true friend, one or two, maybe one. And she might get me if I call her name, so I better not call her name. But I believe she's a true friend. You hear me call her name sometimes. I say, you know, Sharon Bell, and I think she's a true friend. And sometimes a true friend can even be a relative. Because I got a true friend when it comes to my sister. Woo! A true friend does not have to tell you he loves you. You know that friend does. Now, John 15:13-15 says, greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all things I heard from my Father, I have made known to you. So, Jesus is a true friend. And let's look at the reasons we can claim him as a true friend. In the first place, a true friend loves with his heart. It's not about a pocketbook, what they can do for you or what you can do for, but a true friend loves with his heart. 2 Samuel chapter 1, verse 11 and 12. Then David, maybe let me give you a little background, just a reminder. You know, David used to go to the palace and sing for Saul, played on his harp and sang for Saul because he had an evil spirit that would come on him. And David thought he was Saul's friend until he threw that dagger at him or that javelin at him. And then when David became king, he became jealous of David because he heard the women singing, Saul has killed his 1,000 and David has killed his 10,000s. And so he became jealous. And when David was anointed the next king, Saul really hated him. Well, in the midst of that hate, David became friends with Jonathan, Saul's son. Now, even though David was to be the next king, he was on the run for about 20 years, maybe 30, because Saul was after him. So in 2 Samuel chapter 1, David finds out that Saul and Jonathan has been killed. Now look at his reaction. Then David took hold of his clothes and tore them, as did all of the men who were with him. They mourned and wept and fasted until evening for Saul and Jonathan his son, the people of the Lord and the house of Israel. Why? Because they had fallen by the sword. And so David wept and cried and and he in fact mourned him and fasted until that evening. He didn't throw a celebration that Saul was dead. He grieved over Jonathan and he grieved over Saul. Now, when we get to the 9th chapter of 2 Samuel, David said, "Is there still anyone left from the house of Saul to whom I may show kindness on behalf of Jonathan?" See, a friend loves with his heart. Now, David and Jonathan became good friends. They even gave a pledge, and there were times when Jonathan would risk his life for David. Well, now Jonathan is dead, Saul is dead, David is king, has come to the throne, and one of the things that a new king does is he gets rid of all of the descendants of the previous king so that he don't have any trouble at the river with them, really. So, but David says, "Is there still anyone left from the house of Saul to whom I may show kindness on the behalf of Jonathan?" Because he wanted to show kindness to Jonathan's offspring. So a true friend loves with his heart. He does not give it lip service. And too many of us give lip service. We shoot from the lip. He not only says it, but he shows it. He shows love, true love. Bob and Lynn weren't what you call good neighbors. But when they saw a moving van in front of the house across the street, they decided to change their ways. So Lynn said, "I'm going to make some rolls and take it over to them." So she went into the kitchen and she made some homemade rolls, and she and Bob carried the rolls over to the people across the street. And they rung the doorbell, and when someone answered the front door, Lynn said, "Hi, we wanted to welcome you to the neighborhood. We live right across the street." She said, "Here, I made some rolls for you." And the woman who answered the door said, "Well, thank you very much. We certainly appreciate your kindness." Then she says, "This is embarrassing." She said, "You see, we are not moving. We're not moving in, we're moving out. We've been your neighbors for 8 years. 8 years they've been the neighbors, and they never paid any attention. And many of us are the same way. So we cannot just say it. We have to also show it." Jesus did not give it lip service, saying that he loved us. He not only says it, but he also showed it. And in fact, he demonstrates his love. Love is an action word. You got to show it. The song that I first learned in Sunday school long time ago. Don't ask how long. When you hear it, you'll know how long. And the song simply says, Jesus loves me, this I know. How you know? For the Bible tells me so. Red, yellow, black, white, all are precious in his sight. Unless I done jump to another song here. I can do that, you know. It don't take me much to get all sidetracked. But he demonstrated his love. Look at Romans 5 and 8. But God demonstrates his love toward us, and while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. That's the New King James. The King James Version said, but God demonstrates his love toward us in that while we were yet sinners. And see, the New King James says still. King James says yet. And I like the yet. Why? Because what he is saying, now listen, but God demonstrates his own love towards us in that while we were, yes, even then, while we were sinners, Christ died for us. He didn't wait for us to get right. We were enemies of his, and he loved us and died for us. He demonstrated his love. Look at 1 John 4:10. Herein is love, not that we love God, but he loved us and sent his Son to be the atonement for our sins. Woo, that's love. Then 1 John 3:1, behold, what manner of love is this that God has bestowed on us, that we should be called the sons of God. He loves us, and he demonstrated. His love is inseparable. Romans 8:35, who shall separate us from the love of God, or love of Christ? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? What can separate us? His love is self-sacrificing. John 15:13, greater love have no man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. His love is compelling. Galatians 2:20, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in flesh, I live in faith, by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. His love is sacrificial. Again, greater love have no man than lay down his life for his friends. His love is manifested by his death. 1 John 3:16a, by this we know the love of God, that he laid down his life for us. Now, point 2. In the second place, let us look at the essentials of a true friend. Not a false friend, but a true friend. True friendship is independent of time. See, we come up, we don't have to have time. True friendship is independent of circumstances. Doesn't matter. True friendship is unshaken by slander. When you're a true friend and you hear something, You say, no, I don't believe that. Because, see, I know them too well. She wouldn't do that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You say what you want. I don't believe it. True friendship is not hindered by distance. True friendship is not based on occupation and image. True friendship is not affected by a reduction in status. A true friend will not let his friend die without Jesus. Now, there it is. A true friend. You know Christ for yourself. You're not going to let your friend die without Jesus. Then, third, a true friend will reveal himself in adversity. And when you first look at John 11, 1 through 6, and jump down to 35, it make you wonder if Jesus is a true friend or not. Now, a man was sick, Lazarus from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This was Mary who anointed the Lord with ornament and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Now, listen to it. So the sisters sent word to him, saying, Lord, he whom you love is sick. When Jesus heard this, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified by it. Now, that sounds good, but I declare, Jesus, none of us know what you're talking about. Now, Jesus, and here's what it said, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. And then right behind that comes verse 6, and it says, so when he heard that he was sick, he remained where he was 2 more days. Hello, Jesus. My brother is sick. He dying. Come do something. He whom you love. You even said you love him. Now, what's up with this? Because he had said, Jesus said, but for the glory of God, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God. Well, see, I don't understand that, Jesus. But Jesus, when you don't understand him, he will still come through for you. Look. And so that's exactly what he does. Verse 35 said Jesus wept. And we know the rest of the story, that Jesus, in fact, did love. He did care. He did show himself a true friend and raised Lazarus from the dead. He did it purposely so that God might get glory. His work might lead to the glory of God, and God be glorified by the Son. In adversity, a friend becomes a brother. So you will see here a friend in need, a friend indeed. A friend in need is a friend indeed. And that's what we see here. Jesus is a friend indeed, and he saw that his friend was in need. A true friend will not gloat over your adversity and is silently happy over your misfortune. See, we got some friends that they don't say anything, but they happy. when in trouble, the first thing you see is his heart. When in trouble, the first thing you see is his heart. Now, a woman was summoned for jury duty. And she goes and she says to the judge, Your Honor, I can't serve on jury duty. I don't believe in capital punishment. And the judge said, Ma'am, this isn't a capital charge, so that really doesn't matter. He said, you see, this is a case where a husband emptied his wife's bank account of $14,000 so he could take his girlfriend and they have a long weekend in Atlantic City. So the woman said, okay. She said, I'll serve. She said, and another thing, I could be wrong about capital punishment. You'll get it when you go home. In other words, it's like I don't believe in capital punishment, but just as soon as she heard what this husband did, and she said, I could be wrong. So adversity will show what's in your heart. In the fourth place, a true friend is a friend from A to Z. A, he accepts you as you are. B, he believes in you. C, he calls you just to say hello, say hi. D, he doesn't give up on you. E, he envisions the better part of you. F, he forgives your mistakes. G, he gives unconditionally. H, he's there to help you. I, he invites you over. J, he'll just be with you. K, he'll keep you close to his heart. L, he loves you as you are, not as he wants you to be. M, he'll make a difference in your life. N, he'll never judge you unfairly. O, he'll offer support when you need it. P, he'll pick you up when you're down. Q, he'll quiet your fears. R, he'll raise your spirits. S, he'll soothe your troubled soul. T, he'll tell you the truth even when it hurts. You don't want to hear it, but he's going to tell you. U, he'll understand you. V, he values your friendship. W, he walks beside you. X, he explains the hard stuff. Y, he yells when you don't listen. And Z, he zaps you back to reality. That's what a true friend will do. And he'll be a friend from A to Z. And in the fifth place, Jesus, our true friend, gave his life for us, his friends. Calvary reminds us of what a true friend will do to save his friends. Greater love hath no man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. No greater sacrifice, no greater purpose, no greater example, no greater revelation, no greater friendship, no greater cause, no greater love, no greater gift, and no greater God. What a friend we have in Jesus. That's our lesson. If you'd like to be a friend of Jesus, let me tell you how you can do it. Write New Start at ssclive.org and tell them you want to join. Or You can call 502-583-6798. 502-583-6798. And tell and leave a message that you want to join St. Stephen. Or you can contact me, G. Nelson, at ssclive.org. And certainly I will put you in touch with someone who will get you involved in joining St. Stephen. Now that is our lesson. Next week we will conclude the F word series. I have learned the F word. And then we will turn it over to the men. September is men's month. So we will turn it over to the men and have them to do all the lessons in September. I'll come back to you in October. Now I got another couple of weeks now. I got a couple of weeks. But I'll come back to you in October. But we are going to let the men take care of everything in September for Men's Month. So I'll see you then. I'll see you next week. I'll see you next week. And we will conclude. I have learned the F word. See you. Be blessed.